One of the biggest lessons I've learned in this journey, especially when it comes to financial wisdom, stewardship, and navigating investments, is the importance of humility and building relationships. There's a certain power in simply being present, listening, and not trying to impress people with how much you know. You don't have to walk into a conversation acting like the smartest person in the room. In fact, that kind of attitude usually shuts doors instead of opening them. When you approach people, especially those who are involved in sensitive areas like finance, international markets, or government, you have to come with a sense of curiosity, not superiority. I've found that if you take the time to genuinely connect, to build rapport without pushing your own agenda or trying to prove anything, people begin to open up. Sometimes it takes time. You have to let them see your heart, your character, your integrity. That's where the doors start to open. Before long, they begin to trust you. And when that trust is built, it's like someone turns on a faucet. Suddenly, they start talking or really talking. They'll share things that surprise you. They'll let their guard down. They'll even start to explain things that they probably wouldn't share with just anyone. But here's something critical I want you to understand, especially for those of you who are exploring investment opportunities in foreign currencies like the Iraqi dinar or the Vietnamese dong. When you have these conversations with people on the inside, bankers, advisors, folks in intelligence or finance, one thing becomes very clear: they are extremely careful about what they say regarding speculative investments. And that's not because they're trying to hide anything. It's because once they go on record about something that's not yet official, they are putting themselves at risk legally and professionally. Take the Iraqi dinar, for example. People are hopeful. There's been speculation for years about whether it might revalue or become more prominent on the global stage. But here's the key detail right now: the dinar is not a sovereign currency in the full sense. It's not officially recognized for exchange in international financial systems like the US dollar or the euro. Because of that, it falls into the category of a speculative investment. That means it's uncertain, and its value is not guaranteed. It's based on the hope that something will change in the future, a government move, a revaluation, or a new policy, but none of that is concrete today. So when you're talking to insiders about the dinar, you'll find that they tend to hold back. They might be warm and friendly, even enthusiastic about other topics, but when it comes to the dinar, they'll clam up. It's not that they don't know anything. It's not that there's nothing going on behind the scenes. It's that they cannot speak about it in any formal way. The reason is simple: liability. If someone in an official or influential position makes a statement that turns out not to be true, especially about a speculative investment like the dinar, they could face serious consequences. They could lose their position, be sued, or cause unintended consequences in the market. That's a weight most people are simply not willing to carry. Now, contrast that with how people talk about the Vietnamese dong. It's a completely different atmosphere. There's still caution, of course, it's still speculative, but there's more willingness to discuss its potential. People are more open to having conversations about the dong because it's considered more stable in some financial circles, and there's a different kind of respect for how Vietnam has managed its economy over the past few decades. It doesn't mean the dong is a guaranteed winner or that it's free from risk. But it does mean that some individuals in the know feel more comfortable having conversations about it. They'll talk strategy. They'll share insights. They'll sing like a canary, as the saying goes. But again, it's important to remember, no matter how exciting the conversation might be, we're still talking about speculation. And speculation should never be confused with certainty. This is where your discernment, prayer life, and financial stewardship really come into play. Because just like in your spiritual life, you have to test the spirit, so you also have to test the information. You have to weigh it carefully, filter it through wisdom, and make decisions that reflect not only your hopes but also your responsibilities. Let me say this too: there's nothing wrong with taking a calculated risk. There's nothing wrong with believing in a possibility or investing in something that might yield a return down the road. But you have to do it with your eyes wide open. You have to understand the nature of speculation. You have to be prepared for the possibility that things may not unfold the way you hope. That's not pessimism. That's just wisdom. And here's another piece that often gets overlooked: timing. Sometimes people get so excited about what they've heard or read or what they think is about to happen, that they act too quickly. They go all in without waiting on the Lord. But in both faith and finance, timing is everything. You can be completely right about a future event, but if your timing is off, it can still cost you dearly. That's why it's so important to seek God's counsel, to wait on His peace before making a move. I've sat across from people who know far more than I do about international finance, global markets, and political strategy. And I've watched how they operate. They're not rushing. They're not making bold public declarations. They're quiet. They're discerning. And when they do speak, it's after a lot of listening, researching, and watching the signs. That's the posture we should take as well, and not driven by fear or hype or even excitement, but by peace, patience, and purpose. It all comes back to relationship. Whether you're talking to someone on the inside or making decisions with your spouse, or bringing something before the Lord, the relationship matters. It's not about proving anything. It's not about being right. It's about being faithful. It's about walking in alignment with God's wisdom and timing. So if you're someone who's been thinking about investing in foreign currencies, or you're already involved in that world, I encourage you to keep your heart grounded. Stay teachable. Keep your ears open, but don't get swept up in every new whisper or rumor. And above all, don't try to force information out of people. You don't have to posture yourself as someone who knows it all. In fact, that often backfires. Just be present. Be respectful. Build the relationship. And when the time is right, if the Lord wills it, you'll receive the insight you need. Remember, your financial journey is part of your spiritual walk. The same God who leads you in faith is the one who guides you in finances. He is not a God of confusion or chaos. He is a God of order, clarity, and wisdom. And if you trust Him, He will direct your path even in things as uncertain as speculative investments. So stay anchored. Stay informed. But more than anything, stay in tune with the voice of the Lord. Because when it comes to faith and finance, He's the only voice that really matters.